y'all. Welcome to the Honest to Goodness podcast,
where we give you our honest opinions
on good entertainment. I'm Morgan.
I'm Kerri.
I'm Nicole. And without further ado,
here's today's episode.
We hope you enjoy.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Honest to Goodness podcast, where we give you our honest opinions on good entertainment. I'm your host, Kerri, and today I am joined by my lovely friend, Theresa. Y'all know her best as the Heartie Observer. Theresa, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm super excited to talk about what we're talking about today. So thank you.
Oh yeah. We've got a couple of really cool movies from last year. I think it's safe to say these were some of the top favorites from last year, this series.
For sure.
And since y'all don't know what I'm talking about, we are going to finish recapping the Wedding Veil trilogy, the original trilogy, because we all know there are new movies. So excited.
Yay! I was
want
beyond excited when I found out we were going to have a whole new trilogy. Like, no,
right?
I was like, yes.
Yes.
It was great.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's kind of that has been some of our most highly anticipated movies past the Christmas movies. That there were a ton of good ones,
Right.
Great ones, great Christmas movies this
yes.
year. But definitely the Wedding Bell trilogy. It's like, okay, we're doing Christmas now. Let's watch the Wedding Bell. So,
yes, yeah.
Yes,
I think it's just like the perfect way to start off the new year. It was just I'm very excited to hear it because you never know what's gonna be in January. Like you never know what horror's gonna be releasing at that time. But now we have 3 new Wedding Bell movies to talk about, so I'm happy.
Yes. 100%.
That'll tide me over until the later stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. If y'all want to go back and watch our review of the first Wedding Bell movie, that has been up for several months. But today, Theresa and I are going to cover the second Wedding Veil movie, which is called The Wedding Veil Unveiled. And this one tells Autumn Reeser's story as Emma.
Yeah, I love Autumn Reeser. She's just so beautiful. I absolutely love her.
Yes.
And was it what's the actor's name of the guy in the second Wedding Bell movie? I can't remember his name.
Polo Listetto or something like that.
Yeah,
he
was great. He was very, very charming.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I love it when she says that she watched a bunch of these Italian movies. He's like, "Oh, I like it that you compare me to the card, not the actor."
That's so great.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yes. Because they got to pick their leads for each movie, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know.
Yeah. That might just be a rumor I heard somewhere, so ignore me.
No, I think that it makes sense. It would be interesting, especially since the ladies actually like produced their own movie,
Right.
So
exactly, yeah.
It would make sense for sure.
Yeah.
I loved that this one was set. I love all 3 of them. Honestly, and out of the 3 of them, this sounds terrible. This one's probably my least favorite.
Honestly, same. I was gonna say the same. Yeah.
I love this
because I'm like 50% Italian, so I should have loved it, but it was, It wasn't. It wasn't my favorite of the 3. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why, and I'm with you. I love Autumn Reeser. I especially love her in A Country Wedding with Jesse Metcalfe.
Right. Oh yeah. I adore that.
I love that movie. I adore Autumn, but yeah, but I did love this movie. It's not that I didn't love this movie. It's just that out of the 3, this one wasn't my favorite.
Right.
But
right.
I did love that we got to see a lot of this movie being in Italy instead of just in the States. I thought the scenery and everything was beautiful.
Yeah, I think out of the 3 movies, even though this one wasn't my favorite, the scenery was definitely my favorite. Like the setting, it was just beautiful. And it made a lot of I don't know if you've ever seen the it's like a rom-com called Letters to Juliet. It was giving me a lot of those vibes. It reminded me very much of that, and I love that movie. So yeah, I was happy with the vibe. I think it like you said, it wasn't my favorite 3, but definitely some good scenery, good Italian vibes there.
Yeah, for sure. I loved the family aspect in this one because we all know Italians are big, big family people.
Oh yeah.
The opening scene in this one does crack me up when Emma is getting ready to leave and Tracy is there, is this all you're packing and whatever? And Emma asks her, is she hungry? She's got some food there. And Tracy's like, no, I'm not really hungry. And then somebody, the doorbell rings and Tracy goes to answer it. And it's Avery, who of course Tracy knew was coming, and she's trying to, just stall before
she
can get there before they go anywhere.
Yes,
I love that they talk about when they go out to eat. I love that they talk about that everything happens for a reason and in a right time.
Right, yeah.
This is a conversation that
we saw that play in like the first movie. Everything happens for a reason. Like even I was watching the first movie last night, and Avery keeps looking at Val, and she's like, "Oh, you're not a lot of help for. Oh, I guess Peter's not the right one." But then in the end, you're like, "Yeah, it was meant to be." And everything works out for a reason, even if it takes a while to get there. So I love how that theme kind of carries over into the second movie, like you said.
Yeah. Now, this was a conversation that Nicole and I had in one of our recent episodes, and I'm going to ask you this question just out of curiosity. Do you believe in coincidences?
No, not really, honestly. No, I actually think everything happens for a reason. Yeah, I'm one of those people who thinks everything has, like, some kind of reason for it happening, like, even the smallest things, I feel like. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't believe in coincidence.
That was kind of the conclusion that we came to as well. But I was just curious. Sorry, Nicole was actually texting me right now, so I was checking her text.
Oh no, you're good.
But yeah, like I said, that was kind of the conclusion we had come to. But I was just curious to ask you that question because it's not a question that gets asked very often, but you hear that line all the time in movies is, I don't believe in coincidences. So it's like, okay, so do we or don't we? So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Sometimes I would think about it and I'd be like, oh, like what would be like the bare minimum of something to be a coincidence? But then the more you think about it, the more you're like, oh, well, this little thing lined up and this worked out. And, there's just the more you think about it, the more you're like, oh, I don't think there's a thing, honestly. At least personally, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, no. There's no such thing as coincidence. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my my
Yeah, I agree. They've gone to lunch and they are talking about the veil, and Tracy, who we know does not believe in the legend of the veil, says, well, make sure that some handsome stranger doesn't see you with it and get the wrong impression like Peter did. Because,
yes.
Because we know from the first movie that everything was going great between Peter and Avery until he sees her with this veil and he just assumes she is engaged. And of course that sets a whole thing into motion.
Yeah.
Emma
I
arrives.
love how they bring up little inside jokes in there, because it kind of forces you to watch all the movies, because you're like, oh, well, now I need to know what they're talking about, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I like the little inside jokes they throw in every once in a while.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Each one can stand alone, but they're a lot better watched as a group.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I tell my followers this all the time. I'm like, the Wedding Veil movies are an experience. You
They
watch
are.
every single one, and you like, you know, you're kind of in on every. Yeah, it's fun. Last year it was like when we're coming out every so often. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have like a viewing party with my family, and then we're all gonna like be able to keep tabs on all the characters. At least they're gonna be in on it, and they're gonna understand what's going on and everything like that. So I tell fathers all the time, it's an experience, and you can watch just one, but you should watch all three.
Yeah.
That's what I say all the time.
Yeah. My Lacey Chabert was my mom's favorite Hallmark actress. I know she would have loved the Wedding Bell series with her in it. And of course we love Allison Sweeney as well, from the like Murder She Baked and what was the other mystery series?
I adore Allison Sweeney. She is just
I can't think of I'm drawing a blank on what the other mystery series was that she did. I think it was with Benjamin Ayers.
I think it was like something Chronicles or something. It had the word Chronicles in it. I know that.
It might have been Chronicles,
but
I know.
Yeah, it was the Chronicle Mysteries. Now that I think about it, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen any of them, which is horrible. I should totally be watching some.
They're good. They're really good. I wish Hallmark would stop canceling stuff after just a few movies and like keep them going.
I know.
I want Great American Family to start putting out. I want Great American Family to start putting out some mysteries too. That would be so fun.
I would love that. I would love that so much. Here's the question: who would be your favorite pair to see on a mystery series?
Who would be my favorite pair to see on a mystery series? I'm a little biased. I had actually started writing an idea for a mystery series with Aaron Krakow and Tyler Hines in it, with Aaron as the detective.
Oh.
So.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Now we're totally getting off topic, we're totally getting off topic, and I don't even care. But another conversation. You and I hardly ever get to talk, so we're just gonna talk. But we've always said this podcast is us FaceTiming, and y'all get to eavesdrop. So welcome to the conversation, and weigh in whenever you would like.
Yes.
But another conversation that Nicole and I had when we recapped the Gift of Peace. No, it wasn't the Gift of Peace that we recapped. It was the 5 More Minutes sequel.
Okay.
That we recapped, and I helped her recap that one for Swing My Heart. But we were talking about how we would love to see the 5 More Minutes movies continue as a series, like the Time for Me to Come Home for Christmas movies have turned into this big series. Oh, we also said it would probably be a little easier to name the 5 More Minutes movies, because you literally just have 5 more minutes and then whatever you want to name the movie, instead of we have Time for Me to Come Home for Christmas, Time for You to Come Home for Christmas, Time for Them to Come Home for Christmas, Time for Us to Come Home for Christmas, Time for Him to Come Home for Christmas. They're gonna run out of adjectives eventually.
I know.
But
literally every time I see them making a new one, I'm like, come on guys, just pick a name.
I guess the next one's gonna have to be Time for Her to Come Home for Christmas, and then they're gonna be out of adjectives. I don't know. And I love those movies.
I mean,
they're great, but we were talking about who would we like to
The names
see?
are a little complicated. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about who would we like to see in another 5 More Minutes movie, and we loved that in the sequel, Nikki DeLoach made a cameo as her character Clara from the first movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. That's cool. I knew Nikki had made a cameo in the movie, but I didn't know before, and I didn't know why people were like making such a big deal out of it. That's one thing I really liked that Hallmark did this year is all the little cameos, the Christmas
Yes.
movies. That made it really fun. I felt like,
Yes.
yeah.
But we were talking about like who we would like to see in movies, and I don't even remember honestly who we came up with. But I know Nicole said that she would love to see Eric Mabius do one, which I would love because he has only done a couple of movies for Hallmark aside from the Signed, Sealed, Delivered series, and I love Eric.
Right.
But she was like, who would you want to see paired up with him? And I was like, this is a weird combination. It's not one that you would automatically think. Pascal Hutton. I would love to see the two of them do something together.
I love that idea. That is genius. Someone needs to make this happen.
Hallmark just needs to hire me already, okay? Like,
yes, literally. Why have they not already? You guys have great ideas. Yes. I
appreciate that. My friend Stacey was over at the house last night, and we went to eat, and then when we came back, she had been asking me questions about like scripts and stuff, and I was like, well, I have the script for the Mayberry Man series that I worked on.
Right.
I was like, I have that like readily available. I can get my hands on it pretty quick. And I was like, I'll show it to you when we get back to the house. So we got back home, and I pulled out the script, started showing it to her, and she was like, this is so cool. She's just like flipping through it, just looking at format and whatever. So I got my laptop out and started showing her the script that I had written for Andrew, and she's just sitting there shaking her head, and she's like, Kerri, this is good. She was like, I'm literally watching this in my brain. And she was like, this needs to get made. And I'm laughing so hard because I'm just like, I love that. Like, there's no greater compliment on work like that than to have somebody say that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they should totally make it because I know it's possible that a script of yours can be made into a Hallmark movie because I was listening to I think it was the Deck the Hallmark guys, and they were talking about one of their listeners actually wrote a Hallmark script, and she gave it over to Hallmark, and they made it into a movie, which is like, so it's totally possible for you to get your Andrew Walker movie. Yeah, it's totally possible, especially if you pull some strings.
Yeah, I would. Well, and I mean that's the thing, and I know it because like if you start Googling it, technically you're not supposed to submit stuff directly to Hallmark. But if you know people and can get it to somebody who can get it to somebody, so if I could get it finished, the first draft I wrote was not formatted correctly. I had it up to 120 pages. When I formatted it, it got down to like 70 something pages. So now I have it up to like 84 pages. So I just have to get it up to 120 pages now. But
wow, that's great. That's
so
fantastic.
We'll see.
Screenplays can be very, very hard to format sometimes.
Well, thankfully, I just used a software and literally just like uploaded what I had and it formatted it for me.
Oh, okay.
So it might not be 100% how it's supposed to be, but this is also Hallmark, so it's like it's Hallmark. So we also thought it would be really cool to have Amelia Ulrich play in this story with him.
Ooh.
We thought would be really cool. And at first,
I love that.
I still think she would be great, but at first, the leading lady's character's best friend, we were thinking Charlotte Hegley, and I still think she would be great. But when me and Nicole and Morgan sat down and had a read through of it one night, going through it, we all just kind of stopped and went, "This is Jax. This is 100% Jax." Like,
Yeah.
we were just reading it. We're like, this is who this is.
Yes.
But yeah. So now that we've completely gone
Right.
off,
Yeah.
who
I know
cares?
Jax likes to play.
I don't even care.
Yeah, I know Jax likes to play the best friend, so that would be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully I'll be able to get past a lot of the emotional stuff and everything that's kind of hindering me from getting in a creative place, and I can finish that
Right.
script for Andrew, and then I'm supposed to be working on the one for Darby Hinton. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Got a lot of projects in the pipeline.
Oh yeah. I could go for quite a while, and I was even telling Stacy last night about a TV show idea that I have. And I was like, it's literally out of all my ideas, which is like a gazillion of them, it's literally the only one I've ever thought I want to play that role. Like, that's literally the only one.
Oh,
But I was
that's
telling,
so cool. Is it like a
it's just
main role?
yes, no, it's kind of a shared thing. I'll tell you about it later, but
Oh,
yeah,
I would love to hear about it. That's
it's
fascinating.
it's fun. Stacy's like, how do you come up with this stuff? And I'm like, this is how my brain works. Like, I'm not sure if it's a level
Yes.
of, I'm not sure if it's a level of genius or if it's a level of insanity, honestly, when you consider how many voices
I
that
think it's a
were
level
written.
of genius. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Definitely a level of genius, I would say. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think as a creative
I can
person,
tell you,
I really
I
wanted-
write a lot, and I don't have that much creative, like juices going. I write a lot, but I don't have that ability to just keep creating,
Mhm.
creating like that. That is definitely a gift, for sure.
Yeah. Well, it keeps your brain occupied. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Never a dull
I'm sure,
moment
yes.
upstairs. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I can entertain myself quite well. Yeah. Oh man. But getting back to the wedding veil unveiled. Now that
Yes. I'm so sorry. I got us way off track.
no, that was me that took us in that direction. I don't even care. I really don't even care. At some point, I really want to do an episode covering the Mayberry Man movie and talking about it. Because I know it's not Hallmark, but it's something that I worked on, so I think it's appropriate, to do.
Oh, you totally should. Yeah. Because I've heard you talk about it a lot, but I don't actually know anything about it. So I would love to learn more about it. That's definitely a episode I would listen to, for sure.
It is, I don't know if you have a subscription to PureFlix or not, but even if you just did a 7-day free trial, it is going to be available for streaming on PureFlix starting January 1st, which is tomorrow.
So cool.
Actually, now that we're recording this, but obviously this episode's going to come out later. So, and then I think it's January 2nd.
Right.
It's going to be on it's going to be exclusive to PureFlix as far as like a subscription service. It's also going to be on Amazon Prime Video, but I think you have to pay for it on there. It's going to be like on Google Play, Apple TV, several different streaming services. I think you'd have to rent it. And then not in store, but online. It's supposed to be at like Walmart, Best Buy, Barnes and Noble, whatever. So yeah, our little movie that could. I'm so proud.
Yeah.
So proud of the guys.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, my volume is going down.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well,
it's okay. I fixed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Trying to get ourselves back on track here. I'm not even going to apologize. This has been fun.
Yes. I was like, let's. Yeah.
Like I good. You and I never really get to chat, so this is fun.
Also following.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm following along with some notes as well. So
Yeah.
okay,
So
one thing that looking at the notes, yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, I don't want to jump ahead too far, but one thing I was looking at the notes and it reminded me actually that that Paulo was previously married. I completely forgot about that. I was just like, oh yeah, he's some single suave guy walking around Italy, you know, buying tickets and whatnot. But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He was previously married. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. Isn't that scene so cute though when he's helping her buy that ticket and she's like trying to speak Italian to the people behind them, and he's like, yeah, you just told him you wanted to take a bath, and she's like, that's not what I meant to say. He's like, that's what I figured. Like, that would be me.
That's would be hilarious. Me. Yes, I remember distinctly laughing at that scene.
Yes.
Me too.
They were so adorable. Like they were very well cast. Very well cast together. Definitely.
They were. Yes. They made a very, very nice couple. They were.
Yeah. And then the fact that it kept seeming like he was following her everywhere she went.
Yeah.
Even to the lace shop.
Yes.
He's like, what are you doing here? And then comes to find out
what is a guy like you doing a lace shop? Yeah.
And then come to find out it is his family shop, and it is the oldest lace shop on the island. And the reason that Emma is at a lace shop is she is trying to track down the origin of the veil. And it turned out that the veil was made in that shop. That the bride in the painting was Paulo's great grandfather's sister. So they're actually
that's right.
related.
Yeah, I think it's so cool. Like, you know, the first movie, it's like, you know, veil, magic, the museum stuff, and then the second movie is more about like family. And I love how they tie the veil into Paulo being related to the woman in the picture. Like, to me, that's so cool. I was like fascinated by the little mystery kind of going on and like figuring out who is who and who is, you know, who's going to be related and everything like that. That was fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely felt more like almost more like a Hallmark movies and mysteries type movie in that sense, where, you know, they throw a little mystery in there. Yeah, but it was very interesting to me. I liked that route they took, you know?
Yeah. I love that you know, Emma is a professor, and so she starts digging into, they try to figure out how did the veil, because I think the girl in the painting, I think her name was Ariana, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that, yeah.
I could be completely wrong, and if I see it in the notes, but thank you, Nicole, for the notes. But
yeah,
I think that they were trying to figure out why that painting, the Amici painting, she was wearing this veil, and yet in other pictures or paintings or whatever of her as a bride, she was not wearing this veil.
Yeah.
So they were trying to figure out, you know, what's the story? How did all of this happen? So Emma starts doing research, and she calls Paulo and like tells him everything that she discovered, and he's like, you found out all of that in one day? He's like, you're amazing. She's like, no, I'm just really good.
Yes.
And of course, he tells her in that moment, you're also not very good at taking compliments. And she's like, oh, you noticed that, huh?
Yeah.
Why is that so hard? Why is that so hard to take a compliment?
Yeah. I don't really know, but I definitely struggle with it too. People will say something to me like, "Oh, you're the best." I'm like, I mean, thank you, but like I'm not, or something like that. No, it's like I feel like it's just I don't even know why we do that, but that's just something that I know a lot of people do that, me myself included. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I related to her on that level for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I did think it was funny that Paulo told Emma that he thought she looked like a lawyer because she was very outspoken.
Yes,
Can't say
yes,
anything there.
that was yes.
Yeah. And of
Yes,
course,
I mean, she's very, very driven in the movie, and I could see why Paulo would think that for sure.
yeah. Well, and I
Yeah.
mean, he even asks her at a point. Do you remember when they're at the festival and they're sitting there talking? And he's like, I know it's an American thing, but have you always been this driven? And she was like, oh, yeah, always.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
he even asks her that. You saying
Yes,
that, he even specifically asks her that. Of
that's
course,
true. Yeah.
while Emma and Paolo are on their quest of figuring all this out, there are conversations between Emma and Tracy and Avery, where
Yeah.
Tracy, especially Avery, is very
Yeah.
suspicious of, um, you
Yes.
know, that Paolo,
Yes.
she
It's
was
that.
very real when she met him.
Yeah.
Um,
It's that
yeah.
newly wedded bliss for Avery.
Mhm.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
wants everyone to find somebody. The male.
Well, that and the fact that she is a hopeless romantic and she thoroughly believes in the veil. So, whereas Tracy's more
Right.
the
Right.
cynic,
Yeah.
and Emma, as she says, is on the fence. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And I really liked Emma's kind of like her whole like mindset. It's a very interesting thing to explore in Hallmark movies where, a lot of times we see a girl get like dumped in the first scene of the movie or whatever, and then she's just like gonna go find another guy. But in this movie, I really liked how Emma had broken up with her boyfriend, and she's like
Mhm.
very sad about it, and like she's
Mhm.
actually working through that, and she has like some trust issues,
Mhm.
and like you don't usually see that in Hallmark movies because usually the dumping happens in the first scene and then they have to move on quickly because they have to get with the guy. So yeah, I thought it was very interesting
Mhm.
how they didn't force it in the beginning. It was just kind of it was
Yeah.
there, and then they worked through it, her and Paolo. I really liked that.
Yeah. I love when Emma and Paulo are talking and they're talking about, the various touristy places around town. And Emma says, is there anything in Verona not related to romance? And he tells her this is called
Yeah.
the city of love for a reason. And what does she end up deciding to go
Yes.
see some fort or something? And he tells us quite
Yes.
possibly the least romantic spot or like one of the only unromantic spots in Verona. And she's like, what am I waiting for? It starts off. So to correct her
She's like, I
because
did not come here for romance.
yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah,
She wants to avoid romance at all costs. I
yep.
kind of relate to that too because people will try to set me up with people, and I'm just like, nope, 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 no romance for me right now. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. It is hard for our generation.
Yeah.
Like seriously, I don't know how many people I have tell me I would not want to be your
It
age.
is.
Like it's ugh. But I did love and I think
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think this
My
was
mom says that to me all the time. Yeah.
mhm. I did love, I
Mhm.
think this was an Italian saying that Paolo was telling Avery, but don't dwell on the past, but live for the moment. I think you have to.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the saying about there's a reason that your windshield is bigger than your rearview mirror? Because you're always supposed to be looking in
I've
front of
never
you.
heard that one before, actually.
I mean, you do have to reflect on the past, but you can't
Mhm.
live in the past. And Nicole and I
Yeah.
were talking about this the other day about how I'm trying to be better about taking pictures when I'm places, because I used to just take a bunch of pictures and then I'm like, I'm not really present because I'm trying to take so many pictures. Well, now I've gotten so focused on being
Right.
present that I don't have pictures, and I'm like, okay, there's got to be a balance between the two of these things.
Yes, I feel that. I used to take pictures all the time, and I had all these like memories. And now I'm just like, oh, we're here, whatever. And then afterwards, I'm like, oh, I wish probably would have been a good time for a picture right there. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I get that. I totally get that for sure. But
yeah,
yeah, no, I agree with the whole like, don't get too stuck in the past, but at the same time, don't forget about the past. That helps
yeah,
you to grow.
yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
but it's a
What
good lesson.
Yeah, what did you think about Emma's first day of class?
Um,
She causes the
gonna be
blackout.
honest, that's right. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. I was like, this is a class from hell because this is her first day, and as a teacher, you don't want that to happen. I felt horrible for her. I was like, please let it
Mhm.
get better. I'm having anxiety watching this happen. Yes. Oh my
Yep,
gosh. Yeah, I
yep,
could never teach, so seeing things like that, I'm just like, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I felt horrible for her.
I love that we got to see her journey as a teacher as well in this. Like, we got to see a lot of her journey, not just the romance. We got to see a lot of her
Mhm.
journey and her personal development in this
Right. Mhm.
in this story. We found out
Yeah.
that
I'm
Paulo.
curious if they'll bring that up in her next movie for Wedding Bell. I'm curious if they'll go back into the teaching aspect because I did enjoy that. I liked her getting involved with her students and getting the well, we'll get to it, but getting the scholarship or the grant for one student she was working with. I really liked that, and I'm curious to see if maybe we get a follow up on the kid that she helped in the
That would be
her
really
next
cool.
movie. You never know.
That would be really cool.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
mean, we know that she's supposed to, from these movies, we know that she is supposed to like go back to Italy ever so often to teach this class. So I mean, it wouldn't be out of the
Right.
question to see these characters again.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
with We find out that Paulo is in charge, or Paolo, however you pronounce his name. This is coming out in my southern accent. Okay, I'm not Italian.
It's
Um,
okay.
oh man.
I don't
Um,
speak Italian. I mean, yeah. So we're good.
that he is in charge of sales and marketing for his family's lace shop, and he is trying to get his dad to allow him to open a store in the States. His family's very old fashioned, doesn't really want to do
Mhm.
that. That he teaches her how to make lace. I thought that was so sweet.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. I remember sitting there watching that particular scene and they're making lace and everything and I was like, wow, that is quite a unique like thing to do as kind of a date. Like, let's go make lace, like I would never think that. But I found that scene to be like one of the most romantic actually of the whole
Yeah.
movie. I was like, wow, this is really
Hmm.
great. I'm definitely in for more lace making scenes, lace
Hmm.
making dates.
Yeah,
I
for
liked
sure.
that. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it was very, very sweet. Yeah. It was like him teaching her his trade,
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, we mentioned earlier them at the festival and their conversation about the has she always been this driven and stuff. And of course, it's at this
Yeah.
point he tells him that she finally has kind of adjusted her class and not going so with it, and that she's finally able to connect with her students and stuff.
Right.
Oh, Emma talking about the legend of the veil at the dress shop with Paolo's grandmother, and she shows her that little piece of lace that she found in the veil. Do you remember that? I think it was like from Morocco.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I remember that tie-in the story. I definitely remember that. Yeah, that was very interesting. I was definitely not expecting that to kind of, be brought in, but that was very interesting.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love the scene. Okay, as a classic movie nut, as you can see, this is like just like 2% of my collection here, maybe. But I love the fact that Paolo they mention Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, and he starts singing.
Yes.
Cheek to cheek, I think it was that he was singing. It was. I was trying to remember the name of the song, but it was.
Okay.
Cheek to cheek.
Oh, nice.
That he was singing.
I forgot about that, actually.
Yeah, so cute. So we find out that he's a big fan of old American musicals. Then they find the antique trunk, and the trunk is where they find what I'm assuming is like a christening gown.
Yes, which is definitely going to be in the newer ones, wedding veil movies.
Yeah,
we already know that from some of the and stuff. So
yeah.
But anyway, I'm so sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're good. And they don't really understand why this would be in a trunk of Ariana's things. Like, she never had kids. Why would this be in there? Okay, let's see. They find Ariana's will. They find out that a quarter of the estate was left to Paolo's grandmother for taking care of his great grandfather's sister, Ariana, in her final years, and half of the estate, I believe, was left to Ariana's chambermaid for being there for her in her darkest hour. And then the rest of the estate was left to the church, and they couldn't figure out, like, what's the darkest hour, I did love in a
actually, which is actually, I remember, like I said, I watched the first wedding veil movie last night, and actually one of the cliffhangers in quotation marks was actually one of the three saying they looked at the picture of the bride and they were like, why does she look so sad, but they didn't answer the question. And now that leads into this, her will, where it's like, oh, you were there for me in my darkest hour. So it's kind of building to that story, if you will. So yeah, I thought that's a very interesting connection for sure. And I was part of me like looked at that point. I was like, okay, gotta find out what that is. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, and that's another interesting point that Emma brings up when she and Paolo go to the museum, is they have some original sketches for that painting, and that Ariana is smiling in those sketches, but she's not in the painting. So yeah, I'm with you. I love the mystery to this movie.
Yeah, there was a lot of mystery, and that really gave it some it made it a little more than just like, oh, we're going sightseeing at Italy and falling in love. It gave it a little bit more of something, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. They go to, they just kind of walk around town. At a point, that's where they end up at the wall where we mentioned this earlier, with the letters to Juliet. And Paolo asks Emma if she wants to leave a letter for Juliet, and she was like, "No, thanks, I'm good." He's like, "You don't have to be in love to write a letter to Juliet." And she asked him if he had ever left a letter, and he told her, yeah, after his wife divorced him, that he had left a letter there as well.
Right.
And I'm with you. I thought the movie Letters to Juliet was really good. I need to add that one to my collection. I've only ever seen it once, but I need to get that one.
Yeah, you should watch it again. It's it's like you'll see a lot of the same places in that movie as you do in this movie, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Also, don't mean to correct or anything, but actually, according to Nicole's notes, Paulo isn't actually divorced. His wife actually died 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. That is right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My brain is.
Yeah. No, that's okay. No, it's okay. That's why I was surprised. I was like, wow.
What's bad is I literally
it's
watched
totally okay. Like I said, I'm just going off the notes, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. Like I said, I'm literally just going off of the notes, so who knows?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Until like, geez, my brain these days, y'all. Hopefully, I will be able to get something to help with that. Oh, geez.
Yeah. Let me see.
Trying to look at. There was a particular spot I saw a second ago. Oh, them going through the trunk again, and that's when they find Claudia's picture. And
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's when they figure out that Ariana and Amici had a child together, and that Ariana had given her baby to her chambermaid to raise as her own.
Right. Yeah. I remember hearing that, and I was like, wow, this is not a typical Hallmark here. Like, this backstory is not what I envisioned was going to happen, but I did find it interesting because a lot of times back then, like in much earlier in history, you had a lot of arranged marriages, but then people falling in love with other people apart from who they were, like arranged married to. So I found it very it really fit with the time period that was going on at the time of the painting being painted. It made a lot of sense to me. Sure.
Yeah.
So.
100%. Oh, Emma, her at one point when they're together, that Paulo's grandmother, or no, I guess it was his mom or his grandmother, one or the other. I think it was his mother, that ends up inviting Emma to stay for lunch. So she, meets the whole family and, gets to interact with them or whatever. And his grandmother invites her to her birthday party. And when dessert is served, Emma comments that it looks a lot like an apple pie. And they find out that Paulo's grandmother always wanted to try American apple pie. So when Emma gets ready to go to the birthday party, she borrows the kitchen at the place she's staying at and bakes her an American apple pie.
I thought that was super cute when she did that. I really liked that. Yeah. But what's funny to me is that I've actually talked to a lot of I want to say like Europeans, the people who live in Europe, and whenever they try an American dessert, they always say the same thing. They always say, you Americans put so much sugar into everything. And so literally when Emma's making the pie for Paula's mother or whatever, she's literally making the pie. I'm like, Paula's mother's not gonna like too much sugar in an apple pie.
That is awesome. I
So
love
I'm
it.
assuming Emma must have, I'm assuming Emma must have cut down on the sugar significantly.
Well, I
I'm
mean, then
hoping
it wouldn't
anyway.
have been it wouldn't have been an authentic American apple pie if she did. So who knows?
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have this hilarious story where I was working with this with a Polish nun at a summer camp, and it was
Mhm.
hilarious. She tried us more for the first time, and she bit into it, and she's like, "Oh, it's too sweet. Like, who would do this?" You
They
think
are
about
rich.
it. I mean, it's like chocolate and yeah, it's like chocolate and marshmallow and then graham cracker, and it's just like a sugar bomb. And I'm like, I never thought of it that way before, but you're right. Yes, it was just so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm picturing Emma making this like ultra sweet apple pie, and then Pablo's mother taking a bite and being like, "This is too much."
Well,
That's
I
what
don't
I
know.
keep picturing.
He did comment to her because they go for a walk after the party, and he did comment to her that the pie was his grandmother's favorite gift. So I don't know.
Aw.
That would be
Yeah.
really cute.
Maybe she enjoy it. You never know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
fact that he asked her to stay a little longer so they could spend more time together, and she turned him down at that point
Yeah.
because she did.
Yes.
I think she said, as much as I've embraced living in the moment, I don't think we should start something we can't finish. And he told her, I think it started
Yeah.
6 weeks ago, talking about when they first met. Um,
Right. Right.
but
It's like, oh, you
um,
think we're just starting now? I mean,
right?
I don't know what alternate reality you living in.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Yeah. It actually
Paula's
reminds me of her saying that to him. Her saying like, "Oh, we can't do this or whatever." It reminds me a lot of, I don't know if you've seen the other Hallmark movie. It's called The Presence of Love, and it's very similar. Where she actually goes to England and she meets someone, and in the end, she's like, "Oh, I have to go back," and he's like, "Well, why don't you stay longer and we can figure this out?" And she's like, "Oh, I don't know," but that movie ends with, in a similar way, he runs to the train station to, go tell her that he wants to, make it work and everything. But it just reminded me very much of that.
I
Also, if
think
you haven't seen The Presence of Love, you should definitely watch it.
I'll have
Good
to look
movie.
into that one. This somewhat makes me think of, have you ever
Yeah.
seen the movie Leap Year?
Yes. Love Beer.
I've only
I've
seen
only
it
seen
once.
it about 500 times.
Oh man.
Yes.
But yeah, I love.
Yeah. When I went to school, that was what me and all of my friends we would watch whenever we needed chick flick. It would always be Leap Year. That was the one.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right, it does remind me of Leap Year.
Yeah. Um. So Paula's father finally agrees to open a shop in New York, with Paula taking the lead, which means that he is going to the US. So he runs after Emma and jumps on a train and basically tells her, that he wants to make this work, that he's coming to the US, that at least they won't have an ocean between all, whatever. What was it she
Right.
said, that any man that would jump on a moving train to tell me that I've got to take a chance on, or something. I don't remember exactly how
Yeah.
she was it, but it's so sweet.
I would also like to point out about the train scene. I think Dara pointed this out. She does Dear Hallmark,
Yeah.
She pointed this out. She said he jumped on that train without a ticket. So I don't know how that's gonna work.
Pale when
But
you
yeah,
get there. I don't know.
nobody did anything. Nobody cared that he had a ticket. But I just thought it was hilarious
Yeah.
that she pointed that out. But
Yeah.
it was super sweet. I loved the train scene. They had a really good
Mhm.
kiss in the train. That was very, very nice.
Yeah.
I loved
Yeah.
that.
I love when Emma says, "You know this train's going to Rome, right?" And he says, "I don't care where it's going as long as I'm with you." They were so sweet.
Aww.
That was so sweet.
Yes. They're
Oh,
so
man.
cute. Yeah.
See, this is
Yeah.
why we're still
Also,
single, because we've never met any guys that would do
I
this.
know. Exactly. Yes. Never in my life. Never.
Yeah, literally, the shirt
Yes.
that I'm wearing right now, and I don't know if I'm having to record from my phone right now, so I don't know if it's gonna flip my screen where y'all can read it or not. But my shirt literally says, "My standards aren't too high. I just won't settle for anything less than Tyler Hines." So I'm just saying, like, Hallmark
Yes.
is to blame for all the single women out here, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
all-
That is so
all-
true.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
the
Yeah.
wedding was so beautiful in this, and
Yes.
of course Emma wears the veil.
Yes.
And
I
the
have
two,
to say, Emma's whole like get up with the veil and the wreath of flowers and her dress, that was my favorite, I think. That
Mhm.
was my favorite look with the veil. Like, you know, Avery's was beautiful and Tracy's was beautiful, but I think Emma's is the one that would be most like my style. And
Yeah.
I just loved it. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and of
her
course,
wedding most aesthetically pleasing, we'll say.
yeah. Sorry, my eye just started itching. Of course, Emma at this point does kind of believe in the legend of the veil. Avery obviously does, and they're talking after the wedding. Tracy says, "The two of you are hopeless," and Emma says, "Or hopelessly in love," which sounds so like Avery. Like, that's 100% sounds like Avery.
Yes. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
And then at the reception, Paulo
Yes, indeed.
says, "Then here's to the veil," and Emma says, "And to true love." So their
Yes.
relationship, I thought, was just super, super sweet. I can't imagine the complications
Oh
of
yeah.
meeting somebody from another country.
I don't even want to think about it because you think about it, it's like he would still have to like get his passport, possibly his green card or whatever they're doing these days, and you know redo all of his addressing, bring the business to America, and then his family comes to visit them
Mhm.
all the time, so they're constantly traveling back and forth. It's just like that's got to be really complicated.
Mhm.
But you know, like
And
they said, they're truly in love, so they can make
yeah,
anything work.
I mean, they got married 6 months after him jumping on the train. Right there. So
Yeah, which is even sooner than Avery and Peter. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
Avery and Peter was 8 months, but yeah, with with Emma and Paolo, they were married like that. So
mhm. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, they had really good chemistry and
Mhm.
really, you know, you could tell that they really, really liked each other. So, you know, I feel like it does make sense.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, my brother and his
yeah,
wife
that's
were
a
married
lot
6
of
months after they met. So I can't, you know,
yeah.
I feel like I would have a hard time. I might make it to a year of dating somebody before being like, okay, are we doing this or are we not doing it? Like, I would not make it very long without having some, okay, we're either doing this or we're not. I would not. I'm not going to be one of these people that date somebody for 15 years and, what? Yeah, no, that's not happening.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. Yes. No, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Totally with you. But yeah, each his own, So
Yeah. Yep.
yeah,
Everybody makes
yeah,
the decisions they feel like they need to make for themselves, and that's totally
yeah.
good. But anyway.
So what do you see happening for well, I know we got the synopsis and everything, but what do you see like happening for Paulo and Emma moving forward? Because to me, theirs was actually the trickiest for me to envision,
Yeah. I actually have not even looked at the synopsis, so I don't know.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. I mean, I've looked at it and I can't even tell you what it is.
I mean, you're welcome to talk about it.
I just, I mean, I know that she's dealing with some like business stuff, or she's trying to find like a balance in her life between like, planning having family with him and doing what she wants to do as a professor, and him working in the lace industry and everything like that. I think it will be interesting to see how he integrates into Chicago, if that's where they're doing it. I'm pretty sure they are in Chicago, maybe, or wherever he
the lace
moved.
businesses in Chicago.
Yeah. So if they go back and forth from like Chicago and wherever else, I think that will be interesting to see him, not in his because Italy's kind of his stomping ground a little bit. That's his home base, but to see him a little bit out of his element will be interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Because he had this like attitude of like kind of owning the place in Italy. Like he could just kind of walk around and just like show up everywhere. But it'll be interesting to see him not in that mindset, I guess, as much. I mean, maybe he will. Maybe he'll own Chicago too. Who knows? I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah.
Well,
I think he'll do well for himself. But, yeah.
I know we'll talk about the third movie in the next episode, but they talk about that, like, they can't see Tracy leaving New York. But there are some people that can kind of uproot themselves and move somewhere and they're fine, and there are other people that it's just like, yeah, no, you're what I think it's in the third movie. I think it's Avery that calls Tracy the quintessential New Yorker.
Yeah.
So,
well, she's not wrong.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, I lived in New York for a good part of my life, and my parents are both like 100% New Yorkers. So, yes, Tracy is the quintessential New Yorker. She is.
I want to make it to
Got
New York
that
one
right.
of these days, just to see it, but yeah.
Yes.
Anyway.
Absolutely.
Well, anything else to say about this?
I heard Jack's telling me about New York. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good. Anything else you want to say about this particular movie?
Trying to think if there's any. Oh, we pretty much covered everything.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with this couple in particular in the next trilogy, because I can picture Peter and Avery, doing what they're gonna do, and I can picture, Tracy and
Nick.
What's his name again?
Nick.
Okay, because I'm thinking Victor Webster, but I'm like, no, that's not his name in the movie. So, yeah. Tracy and I can totally picture them doing their thing in Greece, but I think Emma and Paulo are the ones that I have trouble picturing what's going to be next for them. So I'm definitely curious to see what the next movie for them is going to be like.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say. Yeah. How about you? Any last thoughts?
No, I just like I said, we both said this early on, that out of the three movies, this was our least favorite, but there was a lot that I did love about this movie.
Yes.
And like you said, I'm really curious to see. Like, I feel like the other two couples are more easily established, and I agree with you. This is the most complicated couple
Yeah.
out of them. I'm curious to see their future together.
Yes.
So, but anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
I
thank you
agree.
again.
Which
for-
movie was your favorite? I'm curious to hear.
Oh, geez. Probably the first one. Honestly, probably the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, I love all
Yeah.
three, but I would have to say it would have to go 1, 3, and 2 for me. So
Yeah. You know what? I'm actually gonna go against the title here. I actually liked the third one the best. Like I felt the I think I got most invested in the couple in the third one. But obviously I love the first one too. Like I literally freaking watched it last night. So yeah.
I mean, it's a
those two are definitely the top two.
Yeah, it's a close tie for me between the first and third one.
Yeah.
But I think honestly a lot of it for me is simply because I love Lacey Chabert and Kevin McGarry both so much. And I love Alison Sweeney as well, but I think I just really love those two the most out of all the characters. So or out of all the actors.
Yes.
So
that's true. Like I think what I will say is that I am most excited to see Peter / Lacey and Kevin what they're going to be doing next, because we know there's going to be the baby and the renovations and all that kind of stuff. I'm totally here for that because I know that they're going to bring the comedy and the kind of the whirlwind of like stress, like a new married couple, and I love seeing that. So yeah, I'm totally all in for that movie, and I already know, like, this is very unfair, but I already know that one's probably going to be my favorite in the next trilogy. But I'm a little biased.
yeah,
but
no, I get it though. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Theresa.
I'm excited
for coming on. And
thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for listening to our rambling. Although I think it was fun. Personally, I had fun. Did you have fun? I had fun.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh yeah. I think we did good. We did good.
Yeah, that's what matters. We had fun. That's what matters. Anybody else, y'all can listen, not listen. It's fine. No, I'm just kidding. We love you guys.
Yes.
And thanks for listening. We'll be back soon with a recap of The Wedding Bell Legacy. And then we will be recapping the first of the new trilogy as well very soon. Can't wait to see that. Okay, I say see that.
Yay!
Because this is going to come out after that movie airs, but we're recording it December 31st. So, yeah, anyway. So, happy New Year's Eve.
Yes.
Anyway.
Bye, everybody.
Right,
thank you.
Bye.